Hey there, everyone. Daniel Lowry back with another installment in our Python for Beginners series. That's right. If you're looking to learn some Python, hopefully I'm helping you out with that. I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants on this, to be honest with you, but it has been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed making that first video. I was so looking forward to making this video for you today because I decided to kind of pivot a little bit to change our direction just ever so slightly. Instead of following a standard formula of, hey, here's what variables are, and here's what the print statement does. And even though we did build a cool little useful app in that episode, I thought it'd be cooler is if we just started building an application to do some brute forcing against a web app. Ooh, wouldn't that be fun, right? And we can start that without having a ton of information or knowledge on web applications and things of that nature. But as we move through this series, our knowledge and experience with not only web and web apps and web security, but other tools as well should go to up, right? So like I said, this is assuming that you are a beginner, right? A newbie. That's totally cool. I'm glad you're here. There's nothing wrong with that. I hate that there's like a bad stigma around being new to something. Man, we're all new at something, right? So no judgment here. It's totally cool that you're new, but hopefully this series will help get you not just squared away a little bit with Python, but security information and tools and tactics and things like that in general, because that's what I'm interested in. So that's what I think we should do, and I think it'll be a little more interesting. That's it. Let's get to it. This is our web application. Actually, it's not quite there. I need to click on the link that takes me there, which is this one right here, which is called the BWAP. Don't worry about that, right? This right now, I'll make sure there is a link to download this virtual machine because that's all it is just running in a virtual machine. And I'm accessing it that way. So because it's a web application, I can go in my browser and type in the URL there, and it will land me on the page. I'm a little overblown, but there you go. And all it does is log in. What we're going to build ultimately is a brute force to get past this login. I know it has the credentials right there, but pretend that doesn't exist. Pay no attention to the creds behind the curtain, right? So we want to just be able to figure out like, okay, what if I tried admin, right? Okay, that didn't work. What if I tried, root? That didn't work. How do I make a tool using Python that would kind of cycle its way through a bunch of usernames and passwords against this web form to check and see if we can actually get past it? That's what we're going to build. And that's what we're going to use to learn quite a fair bit of the fundamentals of Python. That's the plan. Here's hoping, fingers crossed, that this actually, like I said, we could just crash and burn halfway through this series, but if that's what happens, that's what happens. You still learn something, right? So let's get started, shall we? First thing I need to do is open up a text editor of choice. I'm using Mousepad, which is the default text editor that comes pre-installed, the GUI graphical one. If you don't like that one, by all means, install something else. I'm going to go ahead and file save, and then we're going to call this something. We got the LearnPython. We're going to call this, let's just call it brute force, right? Brute-force.py. And hit save. Now, of course, this is a FYI. This is going to be a one-fits-one solution specifically for the BWAP. You got to keep that in mind. But again, this is all about learning. It's not necessarily about being ubiquitous and having one app that brute forces them all. It's not what we're trying to do. At least not yet. Maybe one day, right? Maybe one day. For feeling strong. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But now we got to start building our application. I figured we'd start with some of the basic stuff, building upon what we've already learned, right? Like, hey, shouldn't we give it like a banner and maybe take some options? So I think in this episode, we're going to build a banner. We are going to take input from the end user from the terminal. Won't that be awesome? And we might even learn a little bit more about variables too. something called system arguments. We might dip into that. I don't know if we have time. I don't know if that's too beyond this. We'll see how much time we have and where we're at. Let's get cracking. So we need to make some print statements like prints. All right, we've seen this old friend before. Prints, and I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. Brute. We'll call it web app brute force tool. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close it out. Oop, there we go. And kind of like what I did before, and I always do this. I need to do like print and bing bing. I always like to give it a space between the terminal prompt and the banner. Just looks better to me in my experience. Print, and then we'll do let's see here, just some lines. Just kind of go into the end there, kind of make it all evened out. Oh, you know what I forgot was that there. That would have been egg on my face when we ran that and it didn't work. All right, we'll do some more of that. Print, right? This should be all old hat for you at this point. You should just be like, I got you, Daniel. I seen that first episode and it rocked and we learned all about print. I don't know if we learned all about print, but we learned how to print things. Cool. So now if I Control S to save that, I jump over into a terminal. I should have, I don't know where I saved that at. Hopefully I saved it in the right spot. Yeah, there it is, bruteforce.py. And we say Python3 bruteforce.py, just tab completed. Bam. Get ourselves a lovely banner ready to rock and roll. Some of you might be asking, Daniel, why do you type in Python 3 before this? Because if I say, hey, Python, I'm calling Python when I type the word Python 3 in my terminal. And then I'm giving it a file name. It happens to be in my local directory, where I'm at, my working directory. If it was somewhere else, I could give it the full path to it and it would run it. But if I don't do that, if I just want it to run, I would have to make some changes. So let's go show you what that looks like. And then what you can do, because this is a scripting programming language, you do shebang like that. Hash and the exclamation point, then slash wherever your Python 3 lives. Usually you can do like user bin env Python 3, like so. Let's see if that works. It's been a minute since I've done it this way, but because I usually just type in Python 3, but let's try it. And now we got this bruteforce.py. We also would need to then make it executable, so we'd have to change the permissions. So chmod +x for bruteforce.py. And then we should just be able to /bruteforce.py. And it works. Yay. So if you want to do it that way, if you just want to be able to run bruteforce.py, you are going to need that action right there. User bin env Python 3. So it's telling it that the environment that we are going to run is Python 3. And you need that shebang, that hashtag, exclamation point, the hash bang. You get the idea. Okay. So we've got this going. And let's see here. I told you we would learn how to take input from the user. This chef's kiss. It's a nice, right? We'd use that, or we do that by using the inputs built in. Remember I told you if you ever need to know something about Python stuff, you just come back to me, mouse. You just go to old Google and type in Python, and this is called input, open close parentheses, and then just documentation. And there it is, built-in functions. We've seen this before. We roll through there it is right there. You click on that. It says, if the prompt argument is present, this is the prompt argument, so you see input, it is written to standard output, which is your terminal screen, without a trailing new line, which means that it doesn't have a new line, which means go to the next line. A new line is a \n character thing. This is the function then reads a line from input, converts it into a string. We'll talk about data types as we go. I mean, it is kind of confronting us right now. So, I mean, real quick, a string just means it's just text. It's nothing special. It's not a number. It's not binary data. It's just straight up characters. Okay. So it says the function then reads the line from input. So that means the user types something into the input, the standard input, keyboard, as it were, converts it to a string. Yay, because strings are, by the way, strings are super easy. We like strings. At least I do. And then it says it strips the trailing new line. So if there is a new line on that, it grabs that and throws it in the garbage and then returns what that is. When end of file EOF is read, in EOF error is raised, example, and it starts talking about errors. But is there anything else we need to figure out? It starts talking about readline module. Excuse me. Then input will be, so if the readline module was loaded, then input will be used to elaborate line, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we don't need any of that. We've got input. We figured it out. It's fairly easy, right? Input, and then you give it a prompt. Whatever you want the prompt to look like. And you can have fun with it. You can go crazy. I typically don't, but sometimes I do. So I leave it up to you. There's always fun things to do, like ASCII art or whatever for your prompt. But it's fairly straightforward. Let me show you how to make this thing work. You just use input. You type in input like that. And then it has this. And of course, don't forget those because we're going to give it a prompt. So input, just like we do with print, input, open and close parentheses, double or single quotes will work as well. And we can say, let's see here, enter IP address, because we're going to need the IP address, or I guess, yeah, we'll use URL. How about that? Because the URL will be better. I'll give it a colon and a space. That's beautification. You do you. Because what I'm going to need eventually is this. This is the URL that's going there, minus the HTTP : whack stuff, right? But I want my tool to be able to take maybe this changes, maybe the IP changes or something like that. So the end user can just type in whatever they like. Cool. So it will take that and that will be that. But I can't really do anything with it at this point. You know why? Because it's just taking the input and going blah. I'm done. Like, let me show you what I'm talking about. If you go to your terminal and you type in Python 3 and you just do inputs, right? Enter URL, : bam. This is a great way to test things, by the way. And fire that off. It says enter URL. I go blah, 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 blah. And it just spits it back out. I can't do anything with it really after that. So what do I need to do? I need to put it in some Tupperware. You nailed it. You got it. It goes in a variable. That way I can reuse that variable throughout my script. Man, I knew you're smart. You're picking things up. You're smart as heck. So now if I do things like, if I call it, let's see here, target URL equals inputs, right? Enter URL, bam, like so. It's going to prompt me. I'm going to say HTTP. I'll do it right this time. 192.168.1. It's like 163, I think. / bwap/login.php, right? Bam. Now, if I say print and I give it my target URL variable name, what would happen? Target URL. Look at that. I get to reuse it over and over and over and over again. So we need to put that inside of a variable. Okay, let's do that. So we'll come back over here and we'll say, okay, we're going to call this target URL equals bada bing, bada boom. And just to verify that all works, we will then print target URL. Let's save that. Let's go back to our terminal. I can run the exit function to get out of the IDE. And we're back to the line here, and I can, that's right, brute force, so I can just brute force.py at this point. And look, I get my banner, and it's asking me for input. It is taking input from me, the end user. I can give it, let me just copy pasta this, because I don't want to type all that again. Copy, and then Shift-Control-V to paste. Hammer out, and you'll notice it printed it back to me. Yay, this is getting fun, right? And I can even clean that up because it's like, it just looks like it randomly blah, blah, blah. You know, again, this goes back to building something that makes sense to most people. So maybe when I go to target here, I say target URL equals, or just like a colon. I think a colon is prettier. Bam, give it there we go. Control S. And then let's run it one more time. Brute force.py. Copy that. I don't know if I lost it, so I'm going to recopy it. Shift-Control-V. And you can see target. I'm putting too much of a space there. That's ugly. That's right. I put a space there. I don't need a space. Control S. This is the fun part about doing your Python stuff, is really making the tweaks that make it right, that make it look good, that make you go, I like what I see. And sometimes I do stupid little things like that. You'll probably do them as well. It's no big deal. We fix it. It should look better at this time. Let's see. We've got it saved. Control S just to make sure. I don't remember if I did. Rerun it. Shift-Control-V. Yeah, that's looking better. It does have too much of a space here still. I don't like that. I don't want that. I'm going to take this out. I'm guessing it's adding a space. Oop, I don't want to, there we go. Control S. One more time. Shift-Control-V. Yeah, that is way better. Perfection. We got it. Okay, fun little things. These are little quirks and things that your Python likes to do to you from time to time. But I like this. This looks good. So we have done a few things already, right? We have learned a bit about if we don't want to use Python to invoke our script, we want to tell it that it will be Python by default that invokes the script, so that I can just / run it. There you go. I've got some print action going on. We made a nice banner. We've learned about taking input so far from the end user and then printing that back out, beautifying a little bit. You know what, though? I've got all this print. I got a little bit of time left. Let's pretty this up, too, because there's a better way of doing this. Gots to be honest with you, right? So what I'm going to do is you'll notice I removed this first print statement's close parentheses. I'm going to add another double quote. So 3 double quotes. Then I'm going to remove that and that. So take out the print open parentheses and the double quote for each one of these lines. And then remove the trailing close parentheses and double quote. I'm just basically going to open and close this with a multi-line print statement. That's what this is called, a multi-line print statement. So I'm going to grab that, remove it, grab that, remove it. And then finally, actually, I can go to the end of this and give it that. And you'll notice that the coloration came back as soon as I figured that out, right? Because this is basically what that multi-line print statement looks like. It's print, open, 1, 2, 3 double quotes, stuff in the middle, and then 1, 2, 3 double quotes, close parentheses, and anything within those 2 things will get printed. So I should still get the same output, but it's just cleaner looking, right? Gives me the ability to just make one print statement, throw everything in it, Control S. Now let's go back. Let's give it a shot. Let's see if it works. Brute force.py. Let's enter our URL, which I don't remember if I still have on the clip. Let's see here. Copy and paste. And there you go. Everything works. Now, I did lose a space here, but that's cool. All I have to do is go back and make sure to add another space. That's our new line, a return, a carriage return. Control S, that should bring that back. And we're getting pretty good at this, guys. I think this is going to be, we're going to get good at this. Look at that. Came back just like I like. I can throw that old URL at it. It returns it back to me. We have done a lot. So we learned how to make multi-line print statements, which is nice, especially when you got things like banners or stuff that takes up a lot of space. Writing print. That's a recipe for disaster. One print statement with a multi-line print capabilities, open parentheses, triple double quotes. That's fun. Anything in between those triple double quote, close parenthesis is going to get to the screen just like you like. And we take that input from the end user using the input built-in function of Python. My goodness, we did it again. We've learned stuff. Now, we're going to continue to build upon this. Obviously, this is just the beginning. We're just making some very simple things right now, but we're learning a lot, I think. And hopefully you are. Hopefully you're enjoying this. We're going to keep building this tool until it actually starts to do the brute force stuff. We're going to learn a lot about logic, loops, conditionals. Fun. You're going to enjoy it. Look forward to seeing you then. Until then, kids, keep hacking.